Hi everyone, and welcome to the ADAPT Convention 2020. I am Ben, the CEO and co-founder of BrioHR, an all-in-one HR management platform helping companies improve how they manage their employees for them to be more productive, happier, and more engaged as well. Today, we will discuss an all-important topic that every company is facing on a day-to-day basis: how to unlock the value of human capital, and I will share how we do it the BrioHR way. So 3 main areas that we want to cover today. First of all, very important, human capital. But how do we see human capital? How should we as companies see human capital? What does it really mean? Second, what can we do in order to really unlock the value of human capital? What can we do practically and concretely in order to make the best out of our employees? And thirdly, a simple question: why don't we do it? Yeah, we all want to do it, we all try to do it, but in reality, there are so many aspects that are not managed that need to be worked on and improved in order to really make the best of our people. So first of all, what's very important is to define how companies should consider human capital. When we ask the question to business leaders, to CEOs, to directors about what is their main asset, their single most important asset in their companies, invariably the answer will be our people. Yet, we see little resources, little time and attention dedicated to make employees better, make employees again performing at their best for the sake of the company. So we define people in 3 main areas, 3 main lenses, if you want. It's going beyond just the term people. What kind of people do we need in companies for companies to be performing and to be to the top of its game? First, we need happy and engaged people. It's very important that people like what they do and know what they want to contribute in. Second, it's people who understand the mission and the objective and the vision of the company and who are aligned with it. And third, it's people who know what is expected of them, who know when they have to do what is it that they can basically bring to the organization. Okay, so human capital is considered the main asset. Okay, then it is important that companies dedicate enough resources in time, in money, in attention to their employees, and that companies proactively and deliberately act on those 3 main areas that we just discussed: happy and engaged employees, employees who understand and are aligned with the mission of the company, and finally, employees who know what is expected of them in order for them to perform. In the end, employees will be more productive and more satisfied, so it's a win-win. The company wins, the employees are happier in their day-to-day job, their day-to-day life. Now that we get the human capital meaning and implications right, what does it mean concretely? What are actionable things we can put in place to make it happen? First, the norm has become to manage employees and to engage them even before day 1. The new joiner onboarding process should start as soon as the offer letter is accepted by the candidate, who is now de facto a new member of your team and should be considered as such. No matter how long the notice period is, it can last 1 month, 2 months, 3 months before the actual day 1, but engaging and managing that specific employee has already started. Don't reinvent the wheel. Start simple and refine the new joiner onboarding process as you go. It's very important to make something happen and therefore to start simple. Of course, many will advocate that it can start even earlier, and I agree with it. Actually, engaging people, engaging potential candidates start right away when you communicate what are the company values that you broadcast in your advertising and so on, but also more concretely, what are the interactions, what is the nature of the interactions, of the relationship that you build with candidates, independently of whether they will join your organization or not in the end. It actually plays a crucial role in terms of employer branding, and it's important to get it right. For example, the most vivid example that I have in mind is for rejected candidates. Some might consider that, we will not hire them, we don't care. Of course, I believe it's a mistake, and it's not necessarily very respectful of those candidates who showed interest for your organization, who spend their time applying and potentially interviewing with you. On the other hand, some companies will say, wow, we need to respect the candidates even when we reject them, and therefore I want to send a personalized rejection email to every single one of them. And it is a genuine intent. There is no doubt about that. The problem is that it won't be done. It won't be done. Why? Because it's too time consuming, it's too cumbersome, and it's too difficult. So it's not the fault of the HR, the recruiter, that the candidate doesn't receive the closure. It's just that it's not manageable. So for instance, put in place a standard rejection email that will go to the candidates to at least let them know. Just this, that's the base. Let them know that they will not be hired for that position. Thank you, but, and whatever you want to explain. Of course, it will be seen as a standard email or a pre-written email. Fine. At least they have closure, they can move on, and at least they know that they are not bothered, and 3 weeks down the road or 3 months down the road, they will not say, yeah, I'm still waiting. They never even spent 2 seconds to tell me that I was not hired. That's not right. Simple action. Again, same as before. Start simple, but make sure you put that in place in order to give closure to rejected candidate as an example of engaging, managing, respecting people right from the recruitment. Back to the onboarding. Onboarding is still the first deep interaction that new employees will have with your company. As said before, onboarding should start even before their official day one. So for instance, it's easy to invite future employees who are about to join to a team lunch. It's easy to assign them a buddy who will meet them for a coffee and explain them how things are going around in your company and so on. It's actually very important, and actually by doing so, new joiners already feel part of the team. And that's actually key. That's actually key. Next, the actual day one. The actual day one, of course, we all had a mixed experience for day one, but just the fact of having someone welcoming you, of having a planning well defined, of having someone to show you around the office so that you don't waste time or have unnecessary stress and so on. These simple actions, it's simple to put in place in itself, in isolation, will really give a memorable first day impression to the new joiners. So they will see your company as a place where they can grow, as a place where they can spend most of their time, of their daylight time as employees of your company, contrary to considering it as just a physical space to spend maybe a few months or 1 year or two and add a line on the resume. So I have shared a few ideas just before to just illustrate how actions can be very simple. It's all about doing them. So then the big question is, why don't we do it enough? Why can't we do it enough? But actually, they are easy to identify and put in place. So yeah, why? And the reason is actually very simple, is that most companies don't have the appropriate tools. You need tools because these seemingly simple tasks or activities taken in isolation actually together represent extremely complex processes with a lot of moving parts. Back to the onboarding once again, there are administrative aspects. Collecting the data you need to set up the payroll, collecting the personal information that you will need in order to comply with the applicable laws. Make sure that the access card to the building is prepared and ready, the equipment, the office where they will sit, then manage the full probation period, make sure they have the tools themselves, the company tools, that they have the knowledge of them, that they have access to them and so on. In the end, represents, of course, a huge chain of activities, and that's only for the onboarding. You also have then managing the day-to-day, the performance, and so on and so on. So here again, I will try to explain and give an example how tools really deliver the value, or can deliver the value if you use them, and if you use them right, that you cannot deliver unless you have them across the full employee journey. So indeed, companies need all-in-one HR platforms because it will simplify so much the work. No more two areas to maintain, two lists of employees, two processes to follow in different places in the email, in Word, in Excel, in software, and so on. And in addition to make it simple, it will make every information flow naturally and be more accurate. So that's when I come to unlocking the value of human capital, the BrioHR way. Actually, that's what we aim at doing, and we constantly work with clients to add and to refine our value proposition. But the idea is to cover the full employee journey from recruitment, then new journey onboarding, then I would say the administrative portion of it, which might be leaves management, claims, payroll, employee file and document management, but also, and of course extremely important, especially in those times where there is a lot of remote work and so on, performance management. So that's something that when you think about it holistically, you can really craft a standard yet tailor-made journey to your employees, because they will have the same activities to go through, yeah, maybe, but they will interact with their own managers, with their own colleagues, and so on. So each of the experiences are unique, but they all follow a well-identified framework that will lead them from not yet an employee to the best performer in your company. So that's very important to think holistically about the employee journey, and that's what we focus on at BrioHR. That's what we pack in a tool that help companies have a turnkey, full-fledged HR environment in their companies, with the ability to then design the processes. They are turnkey, it's easy to do. Implement them. Implementing them is often one of the biggest, I would say, source of loss of time and energy, because in the end, HR spend their time reminding someone, sending the reminders, asking for someone to complete a task, and so on and so on. Whereas if all the negative communication, or what we call the negative friction between employees and HR is removed, is taken away from people in order to be handled by a software or a platform such as BrioHR, then not only everyone saves a lot of time, but when they actually interact, then they can interact for really quality discussions, quality interaction, career development. How are you? How do you feel today? What do you think we should do better? Instead of a third reminder for this or that. So that's what a full platform and a full digitization across the full employee spectrum can really greatly improve the employee, HR, and ultimately company performance. So that's it. The three main aspects we covered is first, what is really human capital? We should go beyond the word and understand what we consider to be human capital. What in detail do we want or do we need our people to have and to benefit from, and what environment do they need in order to perform? Then we discussed about what does it mean practically. So I gave a few examples of very simple and practical tasks that are easy to put in place. Start simple. Do a small onboarding process and add, fine-tune as you go, collect the feedback from the new joiners, what they would have liked, and so on. And likewise for the recruitment, likewise for the performance. Just make sure that something is happening, and you will build the muscle, and you will progressively be able to very easily think about additional activities that will add more value. And the third point was to really reinforce the fact that most companies cannot do it just because they don't have the tools that they will need. So it's very important to acknowledge and to accept that digitization and the proper tools are a huge help in getting the best of our employees and covering the full employee journey to provide the best employee experience, happy employees, engaged employees, aligned employees, productive and performing employees. Thank you very much. I hope the session was insightful. Feel free to reach out to me if you want any follow-up discussions. Benjamin Croc from BrioHR, benjamin.croc@briohr.com. Thank you very much for attending this session.